It's been a while since a political sex scandal hit the US, but this one's a beauty. Anonymous emails sent to a glamorous Tampa socialite turned out to be from a woman having an affair with the country's top spy, the CIA director and four-star General David Petraeus. And it's taken just days for him to fall and the net to widen to include another of the Army's top brass.
He cheated on his wife of 38 years with Paula Broadwell, a former military intelligence officer.
The FBI uncovered hundreds, if not thousands, of emails between Petraeus and Broadwell, many of them salacious.
Why General Petraeus was granting Paula Broadwell the kind of access he granted her.
Dave is very, very sad for what he did.
FBI agents searched Paula Broadwell's home.
I have no evidence that classified information was disclosed that had a negative impact on our national security.
First, David Petraeus, and now General John Allen being investigated for sending potentially inappropriate messages. Once such a public hero, now forced into the shadows.
Earlier today, I spoke with Ray McGovern. For 27 years, Mr. McGovern was a top agent with the CIA. He served under 7 presidents. He even used to prepare their daily intelligence briefings. So what's his take? Is it, as the media describe it, the fall of a great American hero?
Well, that's what we're all being told, and that is because the media has made him into an American hero. It's a very, very interesting phenomenon. The American military enjoy more respect than any other institution in our country. And when they wage a war, especially the kinds of wars that we've been involved in, then you need to have a handsome face with medals and ribbons on him to give you some sort of identification with our winning the war. The tragedy is that it's all, as we say in New York City, it's all a crock. There's no winning the war in Afghanistan, and worse still, Petraeus and also General Allen know that full well.
What we have trouble understanding here is that he's ostensibly been brought down by having an affair, and this is the person who's running the world's biggest intelligence apparatus. It doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, Petraeus was more than simply the head of the CIA. He had his own power base. He was causing all kinds of problems for the more sensible people within the Obama administration, who wanted to reach out and do a deal with Iran and wanted to cut back on Afghanistan in a more reasonable way. Petraeus was against all this. He was one of the neoconservative folks. He was plumbing for war with Iran, and of course he had a big position to defend on Afghanistan. And so what we have here is a situation where Petraeus, if he's being removed, it's not because of an adulterous affair. They want him out of there.
So why did Obama appoint him to that job in the first place?
Well, he thought he could get him out of the way for the 2012 election. I was surprised that Petraeus took the job. I think it's very clear he has presidential, or perhaps past tense, he had presidential aspirations. And if he was offered this rather prestigious position as head of the CIA, he'd take it for a couple of years and then maybe become president of Princeton for a year or two, and then come back in 2016 with a big bid to be president. He had lots of support for that. And this derails that. This derails that definitively. On the one hand, you could say, well, what fools we mortals be, and there's no fool like an old fool. But on the other hand, it's a very serendipitous, it's a very welcome opportunity for Obama to be rid of this arch neoconservative so that he can plan an approach to Palestine, approach to Iran, an approach to Afghanistan that makes more sense.
Do you put in his store on this being a kind of interagency rivalry? The FBI have managed to bring down the boss of the CIA.
I do. I think the FBI is grinning from ear to ear. But interestingly enough, if you're looking at the fruits of this very, very intrusive, and most people would agree, illegal monitoring of our conversations on telephone, email, and so forth, it turns out that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, okay? And that the first really big fish, or now we have 2 fish, caught up in this web happened to be the head of the CIA and the head of NATO forces in Afghanistan. If it weren't so sad, it would be really, really funny.
What about the future of the generals, both Petraeus and John Allen? Do they have a future?
Oh, sure. They will find cushy spots on the boards of directors of many top corporations whose interests they have intentionally or unintentionally been serving. I would think that Petraeus will raise his head at some point within the next few years after a decent interval. We've not seen the last of him, but I think as a threat, as a presidential candidate, I think he's blown that.
And why is sex such a deal breaker in US politics? It always seems to be sex that catches them out.
Well, there is this very Puritan idea here, but I'll say just one more time, this is not about sex. Sex is the pretext. They want to get rid of him, and they seized on this indiscretion to do that. It's not the normal sort of American obsession with extramarital affairs. This is a real policy move on the part of the Obama administration. They will be free now, or at least they'll have more leeway to do some sensible things without worrying about a Petraeus running the CIA, sabotaging some outreach to Iran, as he has, and then running for president in 2016. So it's a big deal.